Welcome to Ellie Goldsmith's Relationship Flow podcast. We are on our way home from the airport. Very exciting, and we are discussing today the Baal Teshuva reality. And I'm going to hand it over to my soulmate, who's joining us straight away, not in part 2, but in the episode. I'm very excited to have her, Masha Goldschmidt, aka Teeny Pub 613. And we're driving, so just bear in mind. But let's say hello.
I'm going to have to exit soon, so we're driving back from the airport. We just dropped our daughter off. She's going away for a few days.
Right.
Feels like the car's very loud.
The car's great. Part of the sound effects of Teshuva.
Yeah, we're lucky to have a car at all.
Exactly.
It just makes a noise. Gets us everywhere, but it makes a noise.
Please God, we're always ready to update.
Upgrade.
And upgrade.
Yeah.
So why do you want to discuss about Teshuva?
I feel strongly that I need to say, we need to speak, we just need to address it and speak about it. And honestly, it's probably more therapeutic in a way, but I do think that it's something that needs to be answered. And maybe, you said Baal Teshuva, so maybe it's something that only... This actually isn't for Baal Teshuva to listen to. If they listen to it, maybe they'll relate and feel validated or some empathy, or
well, how would you
maybe they won't relate. But it's really more...
What is Baal Teshuva in English?
Somebody who's did not grow up religious and chose religious life, chose religious path.
Can I say slightly different one?
Yeah.
Baal Teshuva is the master of return. Of Teshuva means repentance in old school English. Updated English, I would say getting to know yourself, like your soul.
Okay, well listen, honestly, you can have a whole podcast and talk about what you think about Teshuva actually means, and it's really not the point. But in terms of the context of what I'm trying to get at, you grew up a certain way and you pretty much changed your life. It means you learning things that you didn't grow up with and starting a life of... You kind of have to learn a lot of basics, learn a lot of things that you didn't grow up with and didn't know. And you might... Anyway, whatever, that's
what do we want to discuss today?
It's not the point of what I'm trying to say.
So then get it to our point. What's the flow?
Right. What I'm trying to say is that once a person who didn't grow up religious and they choose a religious path, and they could have been, and even if they've done it for 20 years or something, then end of the day, what I'm going to say, there's a certain loneliness or feeling of being an outsider, no matter how integrated you are, no matter how much you it's as if in a way as if you were always doing it because it's very natural for you, and your kids are in schools and you're living your life, and it's good and you're happy with it's not that you have any regrets or anything like that, but there's something that somebody who was born into it, and I'm saying this from experience. And people, when I say born into it, it could be any level of religiosity, whether it's very, very Haredi, very, very, modern Orthodox, all the different names that one can say, Dati Lumi, Mizrahi, all the different names for name's sake. I'm not putting it into one. It's not just one group, because we've been around a lot, and there's something that I've noticed, that people who are born into it, they, as much as they could be very accepting and very nice and lovely people, there's something that they they're never going to understand about a Baal Teshuva. And a Baal Teshuva can say to them, you know, I'm feeling a bit lonely, or, you know, say Shabbos is long. Shabbos can get long sometimes. It feels lonely or quiet, or Yom Tov, the Chagim, Yom Tov comes, and different times of year come, and it's you might not have who to be with. You got your family that you're creating, but you don't. One might not have all, you know, the sisters and the brothers and sisters-in-law and the mothers-in-law and the aunties and uncles, and, you know, all the Jewish geography that a lot of people can do. Oh, I knew, you know, grew up by you, your mother, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your nephew, your niece, all that different thing. You just don't have that, and you're starting your own chain, and the idea is that, you know, for me, our kids will have it. I'm looking forward to when our kids, you know, they get married and they have their children, and their children will hopefully won't feel what we feel, and our kids feel it also, because they're children of Baal Teshuva, and even if you have parents who love you and care about you, but still you've had to learn everything you know by yourself. How to be a religious Jew, how to parent as that as well, how to be a spouse, and, you know, how to juggle and do a lot of things that just weren't, you know, it's not like, oh, I'm not feeling well, mommy, can we come to you for Shabbos, or even the people who are come live in Israel and they've left their family, but they still grew up with that, or they have a sister or a brother or cousins, or, you know, or it's somehow they're all connected, and there just seems to be they can't understand because they're not in it. But I just think it's very important for people to learn how to, in anything in life, not just in this area, but sometimes reading between the lines of what someone is saying to you. Like if you say, you know, if you say to somebody, wow, in the summer Shabbos can get quite long, and sometimes, you know, you can feel a bit lonely or something, and, oh, you know, thank God we have Shabbos. Yeah, we really are very happy that you have Shabbos, and we make the best of it. But if someone actually read between the lines, it's like sometimes just want connection. It's just connection. It's just it's just empathy, a little bit of empathy, a little bit of care. It's learning how to read between the lines. And as I said, it's not just, it's something that's important with everything in life. Noticing when someone might say something to you, and like I'm tired, or it's a way of someone saying something, and it might just seem like one line, but they could be saying so much more than. And I don't expect everyone to be able to always read between the lines, because maybe not everyone has that strength, but just to have some sort of awareness that, just an awareness of people who feel more like outsiders wherever they are. Baal Teshuva can feel like outsiders, even if they're doing all the things and they look like they're fine and everything. I don't know. Do you have anything to add on?
Yeah, I'm doing Teshuva and listening better.
Yeah, that was very good.
Yeah, I did it. I'm impressed with myself.
Therapeutic.
And as about Teshuva, like being a husband or father, and a soul that made these choices and is continuing to do Teshuva, because really about Teshuva means you have to continue the process. It's not like a one-time thing, you know, it's a journey, and I'm very happy that I'm on this journey.
Yeah.
I know this is what I'm in this world for. It's my purpose, and I get a lot of fulfillment from it, but I also feel the pain as well. Like, for example, today in shul, they mentioned about this being the disenfranchised.
Yeah.
And it was just very painful to hear the story of again and again in the Parsha of how the disenfranchised, how much it does affect Klal Yisrael's journey and history when they're not being reached out to in the right time, in the right way, and it could lead to people going away from the truth.
No, what I say, like we're doing it for the true reasons. So at the end of the day, whatever I'm feeling, it's not gonna affect what I'm doing, because I love what I'm doing, and I love the part that, you know, what being religious Jew. But what I mean is that, say someone will speak about that in shul, I don't believe that the people who people can always really understand what that means.
Intellectually they might.
They might intellectually, but
to bring about an actual effective change in people's actions.
And I think the disenfranchised is often the Baal Teshuva, or, you know.
Well, one of the comforts I get is knowing that Mashiach, like the idea, the concept of a Mashiach, is that that's what they're busy with. Like, you know, people call the Lubavitcher Rebbe Mashiach. You know, I don't think he was, like, practically, because he didn't fulfill all the things of Mashiach, but he had that aspect of caring about the disenfranchised.
Yeah.
And he reached out to everyone and anybody, and that was beautiful and continues to be his legacy. And Mashiach is explained as a descendant from David HaMelech. David HaMelech, that was his crew. His crew were the disenfranchised, and that's something which I've always related to, and I've tried to do that myself, to reach out to the disenfranchised.
And I don't mean,
and the unique souls
and I don't mean
of
like
our generation.
now just suddenly make
our own
make people like a chesed project to make people feel uncomfortable I just mean even if someone just like what is it? Just giving someone a smile, a good word.
Well, I will say that our people reaching out to try assist us in different things, and it makes a big difference, you know, when people do that.
We're not talking about anyone specific or any specific place. It's something I've experienced in my whole journey.
Yeah.
In our whole journey, in every single place we've lived, in every part.
I'll say a quote from Rab Bullman. Rab Nachman Bullman, he was my mashgiach. He was my guide when I first came to Israel. And he said, and it was publicized in a magazine, Mishpacha magazine, that they're very good at helping people become Baal Teshuva, to come back to Hashem, but they're not very good to know what to do with them.
Yeah, and I think that that's something very important that we've really worked hard on, and then listening to our inner voice and keeping real with why we did in the first place. Otherwise, you see a lot of people, making other decisions because of maybe the loneliness or the pain. But as I said, this is something that this is not one specific place, because as I said, we've been in a lot of different places, and it's and generally at the end of the day, Baal Teshuva can't really make their own group in their own place. So generally, the Baal Teshuva are joining the from birth, as we call it, communities, whether it's
the mainstream,
whether it's in the Hasidish, Haredi, modern, Mizrahi, Dati, or whatever, whichever group it is. And in Israel, it's very boxed off, unfortunately. It's just something that it's not that a person could be the nicest, people could be the nicest people, but it's something that they don't have because they're not in it. And it's just learning how to sometimes try and step out of yourself, of just try and think of what someone else might be feeling when they're saying something. When they say something, it really could be so much more than that.
Yeah, and in that sensitivity, you're, I think, very strong. But that's where it's important you do these kind of episodes and podcasts. People need to hear about the more sensitive souls' perceptions, so that they can start becoming more sensitive and having more awareness. And you need to teach them that, in my opinion. It's not something that comes natural to a lot of people, especially nowadays with how fast and intense everything is. technology and everything else, it's very easy just to miss, you know, people because you're worried about the next.
I mean, the thing is
whatever.
that everyone, everywhere we've always been, people have been so nice, and you know, we
have a lot of appreciation.
Yeah, it's not like you know,
we always give over that message to the Rebbe or the rabbi or the community.
We're very independent.
Very appreciative, a lot of gratitude.
We're very independent and self-sufficient.
But gratitude doesn't mean you don't, therefore you just settle. You still have to improve.
We're confident, we're self-sufficient, we're integrated. Our kids are, you know, doing well. It's not anything like that. It's something very, very subtle that Baal Teshuva and children of Baal Teshuva might feel because they don't have that. They don't have what a lot of their friends are going to have in school on, you know, on Shabbos, especially Shabbos and Yom Tov, or you know, that of that extra family dynamic, or so even if you have some friends or something, but what the friends don't understand is how much you need that connection, because a lot of people have the family around them, so they're not necessarily
or their communal cliques.
Or some, or a lot of communities.
They went to Shiva with people.
Yeah, or a lot of communities.
Seminary. They went.
A lot of communities, as I said, it's not one specific place.
Or they've already been together for years.
It's very. There's a lot of cliques of people, like they just like back in school. You know what? At the end of the day, you know what you notice. It doesn't change when you go into adults. Like
unless you change it.
There's the cliques, and people
unless
stay
you make
in their
a mindful decision.
And then someone who's coming, someone like especially a Baal Teshuva who's on their journey and coming is you can't. It's very. I don't know what the answer is.
I do have an answer, and I think one, like, you should keep talking about it because you have a sensitive, perceptive reality of it. But I also think that Baal Teshuva can bring about the change if we're confident and strong and keep demonstrating our willingness to serve, you know, the higher purpose of what we're here for, and we're good role models in our journey. Then it will start to communicate a different path that most people aren't aware of, and they'll start to realize they also need it on some level. Because in my opinion, everyone needs to be Baal Teshuva.
I'm talking like a real, and when I say about, you know,
and that means everyone needs to become more open to each other and more connecting and more united as souls.
Yeah.
And we'll discuss that more in another episode about
we're the kind of Baal Teshuva that are seeking. We're the kind of Baal Teshuva who have been on our journey because we're really just seeking truth, because that's what we did it for. So, you know, it's easy to put on all the garb and talk the talk and do all the things, but at the end of the day, then you end up becoming a robot as well. And obviously in life, there's certain conforming you have to do for society, because that's the reality. But but you can't lose yourself, and you have to.
That can't be the focus. That's just on the way.
You can't lose yourself and what you're doing it for. And that's why, you know, the real truth-seeking Baal Teshuva who often are going to feel alone.
Yeah. So that inner journey is something we're trying very hard to develop and share, and that's really what I think is the key for Baal Teshuva to help the world be aware of, that there's a certain inner journey that we've done that's incomparable by anybody else, but in some ways everyone needs to do it.
Yeah.
And we have the most intense, like, obvious version of it.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that the world doesn't take more note of it and give it more credence and give it more opportunity. Like, I remember once one rabbi, a very holy rabbi, was Simon Zilberberg, at a third mill. He said a very strong point, and he said that, you know, there's a tremendous light in the world right now of tshuva, of return, and it will wake up the whole world. But he said in Yiddish, but the problem is it bleibt by the Baal Teshuva, stays by the Baal Teshuva. It's not getting to anyone else. So there's tremendous light that's going into the world right now, and it's just staying. And so I wanted to say to him in front of everybody, and I did say it to him privately, therefore we need to be allowed to communicate that light. Because if we've got it, then maybe the humility
We're going
needs to
into a
come.
tunnel, so I don't know.
That's fine, it'll work. The humility needs to come from everyone else to listen to that light that we've got, and to be open to learn from us. And that really will help them as much as it will help us become more connected. It's a certain humility that's needed by everyone.
Yeah.
And that will bring, in my opinion, a tremendous light to the whole world.
But I hear what you're saying, but I don't feel like it's necessarily a humility of maybe certain. Some people it's to do with humility.
Blocking it getting to people? Why?
It's to do with because people who haven't experienced something. That's why, like I tend to connect to people more who have been through a lot of stuff in their life. Because that's what I relate to. But so unless somebody in terms of this topic we're talking about, if they haven't experienced it themselves, because that's not what they were born into or something, they're not going to necessarily understand it naturally. It's really people who. But
it is talked about and it is brought up.
Right, so then people need to have more.
Holy rabbis are aware of it.
Well, but even some very holy people, as amazing they are and supportive as they are, they also haven't really understood it. Fully understood. Yeah. They can't understand. Hold on a minute. I hope I'm going the right way.
You're going the right way.
They can't. They're not going to be able to understand that when you say the loneliness or something, then they're not going to understand. They can't understand. They didn't experience it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. That's why I'm saying I don't know. Even say example. Let's take someone who's having a panic attack. Somebody who's never had a panic attack, and even someone who claims to be a therapist, in my opinion, and to help people through panic attacks, and they never had one.
Yeah.
You can't. It's something that you cannot help someone with.
It's funny. I listened
unless
to a
you really have had it
where someone admitted to that. A big therapist, 20-year therapist, something like that. Very well known, famous, very successful, and he only started to get the depth of it when he had his own panic attack. Right.
Yeah. So,
only then could he really.
And I'm not trying to put anyone down. It's just there's certain things. That
he admitted to that.
There's certain things that, like, unless you've not that I want people to experience difficult things, but I'm saying that it's so you can't like expect somebody to really feel or know something when they haven't been through it. But at the same time, one can learn to have a bit of one can learn to have some sort of an awareness by hearing it from other people, and then just. And
I'll just end off, I think, in bottom line, I think the Baal Teshuva, as it says in our own books, are very, very special people in this world, and I hold of it as a path and a way for this world. It's like it is a successful way of being, but it does still need much more connection with others. It can't just stay by itself, and that's what...
What do you mean?
Like, the people themselves need to be able to communicate their journey, and there needs to be more of room of understanding it in a deeper sense than just, like a change of lifestyle. There's much more to it.
Yeah, for sure.
And it hasn't been fully explored. And I just ask whoever's listening, if you have your own story, I'm happy to hear, share it. If you have a podcast link or whatever it is, however you communicate it through writing it down. I'm happy to hear more about your journey, and my wife and I, our soulmate journey, will be happy to hear if it's with someone else as well, so then it also has that relationship flow aspect. But the real concept is that I'm honoured to be married to someone who's, I would say, is a Baal Teshuva, and me being a Baal Teshuva, I'm happy to share that light with the world, but most importantly to really fulfill our journey with it, to really do the full process, and I'm excited that I'm here doing it, even though it can be very sometimes seemingly lonely and difficult.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone, we're almost home.
Yeah, that was quite therapeutic.
Yeah, it was very good to talk this out, and I'm proud of myself for listening. I did a bit of tshuva. Sorry in the previous episode if I jump in a bit more. Just get excited, and my wife's patient to let me do that at least somewhat, but I need to now listen better, and That's part of my tshuva on this point. And can't wait to hear your relationship flow. And looking forward to just check out the links, and we'll hopefully do another episode about unity. Because I think that's something else that we can help with, especially the unity bookings concept. Check it out. Bye. All the love. Any words?
No.
Love ya. See ya. Yes, we are here. Amuna is our future with the Baal Teshuva agency. We are discussing an important part of reality in our church in 2023 generation, the Baal Teshuva movement, the Baal Teshuva agency. I'm giving us all agency today to go on that journey with someone who I believe is about Teshuva. Who's the special guest? It's myself. If I wasn't for the Teshuva movement, I wouldn't be sitting in this studio talking to you right now. And I do believe I have the authority, being that I've been in Eretz Yisrael now over 5 years on the Teshuva process, and being a Baal means a master of Teshuva. So am I at that level, a master? So we've been discussing in our New Light book series, Mastering Practical Spirituality. This is what we've been discussing. I wouldn't be so presumptuous to say that I'm holding on the level of mastery, but with the help of Rav Orish and the Tzaddikim, Rav Shalom Orish Ben Yemna, and all the different Tzaddikim that we're connected to, please God will be blessed with the ability to, together with them, to master some spirituality, and even more important, to master the concept of tshuva, what it means to be about tshuva, to discuss it. I recommend everybody right away check out the Relationship Flow podcast, where my soulmate discussed from her point of view, the Baal Teshuva concept as a soulmate, as a lady in 2023, her journey in the last 20-something years. Some of the key points she brought out are really necessary for many people to hear about, how everyone can be involved in a connecting way towards the Baal Teshuva movement and the agency. What am I referring to when I discuss that? That's my unity bookings, so we'll hopefully get into a bit more over there as well. The idea of bringing unity wherever we go, working together, collaborating, that's my hope. I want to thank everyone for joining us this week in our wonderful studio in Yerushalayim, Ir Kodesh. We are here in the studio of Rav Shalom Orish of Breslov, Israel. I don't know how much more time I've got here, because there are some talks about me moving on, some other great projects. But if I am here for the meanwhile, we're going to keep doing these awesome classes. And the guest this week, as I said, is the Teshuva movement itself, the power of Teshuva. All the unity booking artists who have agency for wonderful souls, of who've Teshuvadik, who are people that, thank God, are returning to their shoresh, to their roots. And we appreciate all of you guys. You are our special guests online, Breslov.com as well. Thank you for uploading 2 weeks ago Benjamin Klempner's special class. Check out those 2 parts, as well as the spiritual mastery practical videos that we put all 3 parts below in the links, as well as our last week's special guest, Uriah Music, ORYAHH _ for Instagram, or with music on YouTube. Had the opportunity to connect to his wonderful talent. He was our special guest last week. We hope to get the official class up as soon as possible. Got some great feedback about him. He's an example of someone who's part of the Baal Teshuva agency, someone who's returning to Hashem in the Holy Land in 2023, 5783. And let's go, dedicating our 107th class, Days of Erev Tammuz, Amuna. Yes, we definitely need to be aware that we're coming to a new machane, a new camp, of the camp of Reuven. We've just been in the camp of Yehuda and Yisachar Zvulun, the special camp of Chodesh Nisan, Iyar, and Sivan. Now we're going out as we climax Sivan towards the camp of Reuven. Reuven is the Chodesh of Tammuz and Av, Menachem Av, and Elul. These are the Keneged, the Shvatim, as the Bnei Yissaschar says, of Reuven, Shimon, and Gad. We had the opportunity to connect to this special light that's coming in the next few days, a few weeks actually, will be Mavarach Chodesh Tammuz, the Tova Bezat Hashem. We want to turn around the days that are approaching. We already get a hint in Parsha Shlach Lecha about B'yimei Anovim, the idea of these are times of special challenges and difficulties, and in Shlach Lecha begins to manifest those challenges and difficulties that the Rav spoke about on Sunday, Rav Shalom Orish, in our Muna weekly class, about the importance of Shmir Salosha, guarding our mouth, connecting positively towards the light of the Tzaddikim, and that's the Panemius, that's the inner realm of how we'd like to go with the path of Tshuva, especially when we're going to be learning and continuing to learn a new light. Very special how last week was filled with light, with Uriah, his own name is light, and we're going to carry on with the where we left off, page 3:10 in a new light. Check it out. Get ready. We'll start the class in a minute. We're just going to go through some of your important, appreciated feedback and dedicate a little bit more to the class. Everyone, once again, can reach out to me, ellie.goldsmith@brezov.co.il, or direct UnityInspireProjects@gmail.com, or the website UnityInspireProjects.com. And there's only one S in that. So the soul, we're dedicating the son of Avichai Yeshua ben Chava, Yisro Avram, and the D family, all three that were murdered. Alav Shalom. We did we'll mention it in the feedback in a minute. Comfort to all their families. Baruch Dana MS. Also, we want to wish a Refuah Shlema to Shalom ben Yemna and Avra Bas Chana, Tina Rivka Bas Masha. She's on a trip, should be successful. These casts have elevated pure soul Gedalia's son, Yerachim Dona ben Gedalia. Had a good chat with him and appreciating all his content. We appreciate dedication to our Amunah classes and good week, healthy, energized, summer-filled days with Amunah and sharing Amunah Global. That's the goal, what we're doing here. Someone asked, why are you continuing these classes when you're in doubt whether you'll be continuing here in Amunah Tour, Amunah Live? Once again, you guys needed to really reach out, make it happen, partner more. Yeah, I believe in a sharing Amunah Global, and it comes with me wherever I go. It's a journey. So right now we're still here, we're still sharing. Baruch Hashem. And I think that's a lesson to everyone out there. No matter what, keep sharing Amunah Global. As I said last week, the Rav gave me a lot of kisses and said we're doing great work, and I believe in that also. I'm Muslim, but I like Judaism because it talks about Torah, and I'm learning Yiddish. That was in reference to Yonatan Balash's class we put up. Yonatan Galed is a big, and don't get confused by anyone else. Yeah, a lot of fans of Yonatan Galed. That actually went up on a Zera Shimshon post. Check out the Zera Shimshon. It's a great Torah channel that we're working, growing. Please, let's go. The special guest, Yosef Seidler. Yes, we had him last week. He was live for Shlema, and we got some nice feedback. Someone wrote, Shalom Rabbi, and your awesome guest. Greeting from Sydney, Australia. I love the book, Rabbi. That's to do with the new light. And thank you for sending it to me. Yes, we did send it to her, and I even have a spare copy. Who wants to get in before I'm no longer able to do this? Reach out so I can send you a free copy. Email me. How are you sharing Amunah Global, bringing more unity and love to your sphere of influence and to your community? Okay, here we are. Let's go into more of the feedback. People about Rav Shalom Morish. Yes, Jack Langer commented. Yes, that's Yaakov Langer from the Living L'Chaim. Commented on your post recommending this special interview on Beyond Inspiring Rabbi Leo D. So he gave a big heart that we recommended it, and we put it on all our platforms. So powerful. Witness the in-person process by living now in a frat. That's what I wrote. Real Amunah people with true, kind, dedicated hearts. Only comfort, long, healthy life. May Rabbi Leo D., who also shared the video with us, by the way, put it on our Amunah is our future group. You can check that out on Facebook as a growing group that we've been working on for a long time. There's over 1,500 people there. Fulfill all his goals of mission as an ultimate dedication to his wife and daughters, Olav Shalom. Feeling the inspired, united souls comfort. Us all, the song with video brought us all to tears. Thank you, Yaakov Langer and team. Gedalia's class. Okay, thanks so much. He's asking again about the number. I sent it to them, and you just need to reach out to WhatsApp, and you can join one of his groups. Ruth Yechevet, Baruch Hashem, and Bendiga al Rav Shoresh, Ku Hashem. Shalom Rabbi, and your guest also greetings from Sydney. Yes, we read that already. Pop closure. Someone was asking about sending the questions. So once again, we have this list. I already put it there for next week. I'll put this copy back in my storage because I like to keep a record of everything we're doing. And thank God, let's go. Let's keep learning the new light. Join us now in chapter 7. That's what we're holding. Appreciate all you guys reaching out. Just a reminder, Amunah, Hashem always loves me, and everything will always be good. And it will only get better and better. The Magnet, check it out. And all the wonderful booklets that we've been talking about all these weeks. Love having you here. Got some love over there on Instagram. Keep sharing some feedback over here. It means a lot. The short and the certain route, page 310. Let's learn. Yeah, let's do this, guys. Let's make it happen. There are some topics regarding whether exists comprehensive, well-organized books for practical application, which anthologize many inspiring teachings and types of guidance. Yes, a person who wants to attain the wholeness of the work of will must always have a book at hand on this topic and learn from it regularly. If he has the opportunity to read or hear additional sources of encouragement on that topic, he should write them down. The idea, remember, is chodkek libech. We have to internalize what we're learning. It's not enough just to read. It's not enough just to hear, listen. Yeah, we can listen to lots of good things. We need to write it down, internalize it. That's why we always write everything down. Or your feedback, we internalize your appreciation. We also internalize the lessons here. For instance, a person who wants to engage in Isbodedus, a Munah prayer, personal prayer, talking to Hashem, should learn in Forest Fields by the author of this book, that's from Shalom Arush, which is a practical guide to Hisbodedus. Its entire goal is to inspire the people of our generation to engage in personal prayer, aka Hisbodedus. Yeah, that's what we're about over here. Hello. And he should learn Outpouring of the Soul, which is another beautiful book, one of the books that originally inspired me very much when I first came here in Eretz Yisrael in 1998-99, which compiles advice and encouragement regarding exposure from all the books of Rabbi Nachman and his students Rabbi Nosson. Yeah, and that's talking about Rebrezev.org. That's one of our friends, Rav Chaim Kramer. I went there when I was much younger and much shorter beard, and he was also much younger, Rav Chaim Kramer, in the 90s, end of the 90s, and I got a lot of Breslov books that changed my life. A person who wants to work a particular topic must be a wise person whose eyes are in his head, as it says in Ecclesiastes, or however you say that. I think in Hebrew that means Kehelis. Instead of recreating the world, instead of studying and learning for years, experimenting and erring until you reach proper conclusions like Tim Ferriss style. Yeah, what's one? He always does his experiments on himself. I think these days he's got a bit wiser about how to do it. Someone who's already told works hard on all your behalf, who has already ploughed, sowed, reaped, and so forth, who has presented you with foods, delicacies, ready to eat. So there's enough people done experiments already. Maybe Tim is the first, because we'll give him some praise. But there really is a lot of people who have done these experiments for us, especially with self-development. And in the Torah world, there's many tzaddikim, many righteous people who've done the hard path, laid out what's needed, especially for our generation. We're called it's Asfim. We're gathering together all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the answers, all the advice. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this class, because you're not just hearing from me, you're hearing from all the Doris, the Messiah, all the way back through the Tzaddikim, through Rabbi Nachman, all the way to Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, or through Lubavitch, all the way to Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, and from Reb Shimon Bar Yochai all the way to Moshe Rabbeinu. As we said last week, the idea of Moshe to Yeshua, to Zakenim, to Am Yisrael, Rak, Chazak, Ni'amatz, that was the Masorah we spoke about last week. There's always a tradition, a transmission, as we learn in Pirkei Avos. Yes, we hope you guys are learning the saying of the fathers, another way of connecting to the tradition. Therefore, and that's very important for our generation, because there's a lot of discounting the previous generation, the previous wisdom. Everyone wants to, in the world out there, the woke world, or however you want to describe it, they're trying to come up with newer and newer ways. They imagine that this is going to be the right way for humanity. And the problem is they're mistaken, because they've discounted history, they've discounted facts, they've discounted truth, they've discounted values, and these are values that have been tried and fulfilled. And not only that, God himself, who created this whole world, if you believe in the truth of God and Creator, who's constantly creating the world, communicating these truths constantly, and therefore to discount yourself or disconnect from that truth leads to all kinds of mistakes that we're seeing manifest in the general troubles and challenges that are going on in the world. You just have to look at the crime rate and corruption that goes on in all these places of people that believe in these strange ways of thinking. And unfortunate, we pray for all of you, and we will keep sharing the truth no matter what, because the truth is the key to hopefully bring the world back to its center, back to its and humanity back to its soul level. That's why we put out the United Souls. Check it out in the subscription also, as we're updating the latest version extract we put out with all the latest music. We have a beautiful song from Yom Tov Biton and Shtar, or rather, let's say the new name, Isaac and Rubinstein. Beautiful new songs that just came out this week, and we're looking forward to a new song from Nissan Black and new songs from other artists, Moshe Rubin, all the wonderful people we work with. Love sharing music global, because Emunah music is going to be the key to correct the values in the youth, in all these platforms, to bring it out. So, for example, Yom Tov Biton has 1 million views of him talking about everything he's gone through and doing it with Emunah. Those 1 million kids that saw that hopefully will inspire them to connect more to Emunah and to sing those words of Emunah, as well as all the other artists we mentioned. Therefore, a person who wants to acquire the trait of Emunah, which encompasses all the good in the world, should regularly learn in the Garden of Emunah, is Gates with Thanksgiving, the Book of Gratitude. A man who wants to have a good marital relationship should regularly learn the Gana Shalom, or other books of Shalom Bayis advice. Yes. A woman who wants to strengthen herself, the wisdom of women, and all the other important needed Shalom Bayis books. A person who wants to acquire the tree of joy. But the most important thing is not enough to learn it. We're going to see that in a minute. He should learn in the garden of wisdom. A person who wants to get out of debt should learn in the garden of wealth. Yes, the garden of riches. My covenant of peace, Briti Shalom. is a wonderful essential book for every man who wants to work on the most important matter in life, the rectification of the covenant, Bris Kodesh. Who doesn't need to work on Yesod nowadays? It's something, the foundation of humanity is the Kedusha Torah, especially this month, where we're going to try to be humble, not the other way. We're going to try to be humble in this month and have humility, that we need to work on working and rectifying our relationships with how we deal with the bris, with the covenant of humanity, the idea of procreation and marriage and shalom bayis and soulmates. These are all important things discussed in Rav Shalom Oresh's beautiful series of Agan Emunah. A man is sent to this world principally to stand the test of licentious and attain the rectification of the covenant, Bris Kodesh. And this book is an encompassing and complete guide to that topic. So we all see nowadays how much we need these advice, because we need these eitzes, these important guiding principles on how to guard the bris. I went today before the class to the mikveh. I had the opportunity to meet with a very special organization and head Just One Chesed. Check them out. I might be doing some projects with them, we'll see. They've already done a lot of chesed since I moved to Efrat. Amazing organization. And the head guy, before we had the meeting, said, we got to go to the mikveh. So we started off with purity. That's the key. The prescription. A personal library of such books is like a wonderful pharmacy that has medicine for every disease and problem. The prescription is to take the book on the subject that you're working on and learn a page a day or more. I remember this in yeshiva. I was having challenges with the bris. So I learned Shalom Emunim in those days. We didn't have Rav Shalom Oresh's book on of the covenant of priesthood, my Brisi Shalom. We didn't have that book yet. So I had the opportunity to learn from Rav Aaron Roth the idea of Shalom Emunim and Torah HaKodesh and Torah HaShulchan, all those beautiful books from that Tzaddik, and also Rabbi Nachman's Sfarim on Kedusha Bris we had in those days from Breslov.org, Tikkun Klali. So that was what we were able to learn, and I learned those books on those subjects, and it helped a tremendous amount. With ruler and pen or pencil, yeah, you have to underline. You go to someone's book. I can't show you my book because I'm always using different versions. But you underline, make notes, sticky things in the book to keep where it was a significant moment and something you need to internalize. You can mark every point. Rav Rosh definitely does this. I've seen in his books and all the books of the tzaddikim that I've had the merit to look at. They're all written up. I just put up a Pozer Shim's, an old version, and it had all kinds of notes in it. And the idea that, thank God they put out a newer version, but the point is constantly working on what you're learning, internalizing it, underlining it, marking it, putting it, organizing it to, as we've already discussed many times, mastering spirituality. That's been one of the main concepts. At the beginning of every session of your work of will, remind yourself of these central points that you've summed up and delineated. For instance, if your work attaining joy, when you begin your work of the will, tell yourself, and here we're going to read this now, everyone together, page 311, in a new light. I realize that my primary work in life is to acquire the trait of joy, because that is a central requirement for attaining everything good in life, in the physical and spiritual realms. As a result of my work to attain joy, it would be easy for me to acquire everything else that I want. Therefore, I must remind myself over and over that attaining joy is my essential task, and that it's forbidden to be dormant and inactive. I must work every day to learn about this topic. Practice advice I learn, engage in much prayer until Hashem will have compassion on me, distance me from depression as much as possible, help me attain joy at every level, so I'll always be joyful. As the Rabbi always says, Eli, smile. He wants me to smile at you guys. Breslov.com, you hear me? Go there, by the way, if you want to get all these books. All the books we've mentioned are listed. All the general books you mentioned from all the other organizations are listed. Shimshon, Breslov.com, Breslov.org. Everything's listed over there on our books, on our website as well, and you can order it through Breslov Israel, no problem. And I also realize that my being able to experience God joy depends on my emunah that everything is for the good. I was speaking to a Rav about panasa, income, having abundance, and he said that it's so important to believe, as Rav Oresh says, the same thing, that it's going to be good and it's going to get better, that everything works out the best way. And with that emunah, with that betochen, that's the key to go forward. Therefore, the initial and central work of my will is to believe that everything is for the good. And Rav Oresh himself told a story this week. If everyone goes listen to this week's class, and we put it on the Spotify as well. You can watch it on Spotify nowadays. Over there, he mentioned his own challenges brought him to an hour of prayer just on this point of that it will all be for the good, and he came to new masakim, new understandings of Amunah by doing that. In order to attain that Amunah, I must learn his gates with thanksgiving. I said thank you and I was saved. And every day I must devote at least half an hour to the work of the will, to complete emunah, not complain, to complete emunah, the opposite of complaining. We're going to have complete emunah. Although the works of our generation certainly cannot be compared to works of any generation, which is the humility we need to have. Pride. This is not the pride. It's the humble month. Humble humility month. That's what we're busy with here. That we have to go back to previous generations to get the wisdom. When it comes to practical advice, worthwhile learning contemporary books, because we need to be able to make it practical for our generation. That's why I listen to a lot of contemporary podcasts. I listen to Rav Simon Jacobson. I listen to Rav Wari Jacobson. I listen to Rav Shais Taub. I listen to Rabbi... There's a long list here. I could go through all the podcasts. I mean, if you ever want me to send you a podcast, it's Gedalia Fence. Of course, I listen to many, many, many podcasts, including our own. I review what we put up as well, because even my own class, I think, is worth review. We need to go through contemporary platforms, not just books, podcast, audio, visual apps. I'm updating on this book because it's also, it was written with the concept of books, but nowadays people are mostly listening, audio books. We need to listen to all the right places and get the inspiration that will help us go forward to discipline ourselves and to have a focused, enjoyable life. Yes? So let's go. They have the tremendous advantage of having written or spoken, if we're doing audio, of authors who have encountered, experienced the problems of this generation. That's why we'll have in mind now Rav Gershon Edelstein, who went up to the Olam MS just last week. We'll have in mind his wonderful soul, and hopefully he will be Meles Yocha for our generation. And any other souls who went up, the Chabad guy who unfortunately was shot last week, his soul should be Meles Yocha. All the D family who went up, all three of them should be Meles Yocha. All these souls who understood are up in Shemaim now with our current issues. Someone wrote, I humbly want Beis HaMikdash then. Yes, it has to be with humility. Very good. Broken heart. I said to someone, my heart's so broken from all the challenges that go on sometimes, say with trying to make a living or dealing with people. My heart is broken so much. I said this once to my Rebbe, the Talmud Rebbe. The blood is pouring all out on the floor right in front of me right now. It's overwhelming, the pain. Please pray, Eliyahu ben Chanali, should have a healed heart. And my wife, Masha Baschat, we need to heal our hearts. We need Am Yisrael to come together more with Ava, with love, and to get rid of all these negative energies about making a living. It's all good. Let's do it together. Unity. Let's build bracha and blessing and abundance. We're not in competition over here in the Breslov.com area. We are working together as a team. Remember that, team effort, unity. Hashem sees everything we're doing. Let's be with love and support each other. Let's help each other. Let's believe in each other. Let's give encouragement, as we spoke last week. Only words of encouragement. Let's build each other into the best. That's the kind of business environment we want to be in, not anything else. God forbid, Hashem Shemreinu. And Hashem should help us all going ahead weiter. And that's the idea. They've experienced the problems of our generation, understand the generation, all its special difficulties, who relate to and can answer specific questions. For instance, in the Brisi Shalom, my covenant of peace, which I'm not sure that's the actual, I think it's Garden of Peace. The Covenant of Peace. Okay, maybe that's the name in English. Address the harm done by modern technological devices. Yeah, that's where we are now. We're on there together, yeah? We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, on Facebook. How much time are you on the feed and there's suddenly something comes up that's not so great? Yeah? If you go searching on Instagram, which I don't recommend anyone doing, it's very unlikely, unless you've really streamlined your feed, you're going to have something that's not worth looking at. It's going to be, or Facebook, you go to the video section, it could pull you off into a romp. Even worse, Netflix, you could spend days of your life watching and binging hours of content, especially that's not good for you. Yeah, there's a challenge constantly for all of us to thank God no Netflix in my house, but to constantly maintain the balance and the control, especially at TikTok. We'll load up sometimes shorter versions of these videos, little reels and things, and you could just drawn into this endless barrage of nonsense of minute after minute after minute. So with this challenge, the Garden of Wisdom relates to self-blame and lack of self-esteem. Even if the independent books appear simple to you, they are deeper than the sea. And that will help you with those technological challenges that we're going through, especially now with what's coming in AI, as we mentioned in previous classes about that. Go check it out. When you review such ideas over and over again, you will be amazed at the depth that you will find them. The goal of learning is not only to know the material, but to internalize it into your heart, as we said already. And accomplish that when you review the material over and over, devote your prayers to it, through bringing your Torah and prayer together, turning your Torah into prayer, your learning into prayer. Thank God I have chavrusos here in Eretz Yisrael, and we're learning about deep Chassidus from Rav Leibel Eger, from Rav Tzadok, Tzidkas HaSedek, the idea of beautiful Svarim of Shlomo Katz. We're learning Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter's book on Shabbat, beautiful books on deep Torahs, understanding the Meishloach, the ideas of beautiful concepts and Sefer Midbar. We have to internalize it through prayer. Let's take that teaching and pray on it, daven on it, learn on it. And when we're learning Daf Yomi every day with Rav Eli Stefansky and the beautiful Daf Yomi Shirim, we need to learn and pray on what we're learning, that we internalize the Daf, that we should remember it. We should Avos Olam, and when we're praying every day, Birchas Torah, we should have Kavanah, have mindfulness, that the Torah should go inside our hearts, so then we don't end up, God forbid, doing the Chay of Meraglim or other things, or getting caught up with Lashon Hara or technology that we don't want to be involved with. We need to pray for that Shmira Eliona, that heavenly protection. That's what Yeshua ben Nun did, and Caleb ben Yefuna. They went to Hebron. Moshe Rabbeinu was praying for Yeshua, gave him an extra letter to give him that chizuk, so that he should withstand the challenge. The chazachtem, we should be able to withstand. Someone said to me today, an old Yid, it reminds me of Moshe Feinstein, came up to me in shul in a frat and said to me that we are never given a challenge that we can't overcome, and it will be good. And he gave me that needed chizuk, even though we know this, but we need to go over it, internalize it, say it again and again, till it becomes part of Amunah. And then another Yid says it to another Jew, or another human being saying it to another human being, wherever you are. Keep giving each other encouragement, keep sharing the message, and praying for each other, praying for yourself, praying to internalize these lessons. Now we're going to just stop for a minute on page 312. We'll get back to it hopefully next week if we have a class. And I pray for all of you to keep praying for us, to be blessed with what we're doing, and to remember that there's Unity bookings, opportunity to bring these lights to your community, to bring Rav Shalom Katz to your community, bring Rav Shalom Morris to your community. We have a Munah tour right now going live in France. Rav Shalom is in France, lighting up all the French population over there. Check it out on the French channels. I'm sure there's going to be some photos. We'll try to put some up on ours as well, whatever we get. And someone here, you help me get back to my Hasidic families. Yes, Chabad are definitely the very good shlichim in the whole world, generally with this kind of practical help. And I want to ask everyone here, what is something meaningful that you would like us to discuss for next week? But in the tshuva concepts, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't done this internalization, if I hadn't gone on this journey, searching and wanting and praying, all those moments of calling out to God and learning books like we just discussed in a real deep way, that helped me really succeed on this tshuva process to change my life when I came to Eretz Yisrael when I was 18, 19, and to seek it out in a real way. Even in university, when there was all kinds of other distractions, I was constantly focused on finding the truth. And that search for truth, my wife spoke about in a Relationship Flow podcast, that is what we're here for. We're here for the truth. We're here for the emes, for the ability to connect ourselves to our Creator and to have soulmate connection in our relationships, and to work with people that are real and true, and to care about the truth in everything, how we do business, and how we keep Shabbat, and how we dress, and how this for me represents truth, because Michael Jordan was someone who in his world, I don't know if he's truthful in everything, but in this concept of the victory, of going beyond your initial abilities and reaching out in the air to something beyond yourself, to a higher goal, to have ambition, to want to succeed in your spiritual growth. This is the concepts of tshuva, hey, to return yourself back to Hashem, return everything you're involved in back to Hashem. You see something out there, you've gone through experience in life, realize that can be your power. Thank you. Someone wrote, I just prayed. Exactly. We've got to apply it through prayer and then action. That was the idea of just one chesed. How much do we need to do kindness? We need to help each other, collaborate with each other. That's also a big tshuva process in our generation, not to just be out for yourself and how you can become a famous speaker, rabbi, whatever it is you're trying to do, actor, actress, be on YouTube, TikToker, whatever it is. You've got to think about how you can collaborate, how you can help other organizations. Look at Joe Rogan, how much he's growing in the last year or so since he collaborated with so many other people through his comedy club and for all the things he's doing. He's an example in that world of how you help other people. That is a big part of tshuva, not just to return yourself, but the big part of the 12 steps is once you've taken on that bigger responsibility in life, now to help others. That's the ultimate point of it, to help others establish themselves in making an income, help others establish themselves in booking, help others establish themselves in learning, help each others in growing in Yiddishkeit, in spiritual mindset, and having a growth mindset, and helping others when you talk to them, smile at them, give them that love. That's the light of the Tzaddikim we'll be learning here. So we'll end off in Pashas Shlach Lecha, and it's a noshim to do our shlichus, to realize we're all on a mission, we're all in part the agency of Hashem. He's the ultimate booking agent. He's sending us out to do these missions, and he pays well. Yeah, he's the one who ultimately will support and refine us and pay us all what we need, everything we need, so we can support our families and be able to do charity and to bring this world, please God, to the ultimate tikkun, the ultimate fixing, the tikkun olam of Mashiach Tzidkenu, where we'll come to Eretz Yisrael with only good, to see only the good, that the Tova Aretz, to see the good, the blessing that exists here, to use our eyes and mouth to bring out the good in everything, and to bring everything back to tshuva, the whole world to tshuva b'hava, tshuva with love. Everything should return with love. It shouldn't be forced upon us through difficulties. It should be brought about through a loving relationship, through a connection, through wanting to turn everything in our life back to Hashem, to elevate everything we're involved in. And with that, we'll dance Mashiach Tzidkenu b'meher b'yameinu. Thank you for joining us, and we appreciate it, and we can't wait to join you for another Muna class. Check out all the links below, share Muna Global, and be blessed with tshuva, and see how that will bring abundance in everything you're doing. Amen. All the best. Check out the Relationship Flow podcast.